Right, why stop when you're having fun, eh? Okay, this is just a really quick one. So you go a bit further down, you get two more bus stops, again, opposite each other. But in this case, the bus stop bypass is actually just a normal service road. So what you can see is all of the highfalutin, wonderful new ideas that there were just down the road of, oh look, a little road around the back of a bus stop. Frankly, this already existed, and all they've done is reconfigure it. They've blocked the exit. That may have been blocked long before. I don't think so. And then they provide a little extra exit. What this means is actually that in this case, the cycle route going straight ahead uses a toucan. So it's not as easy and not as straightforward, especially because actually this T-junction has quite some priority. So that may in part explain why you end up with cyclists on the other side contraflowing, because it lets you avoid this junction. Because on the other side, you have something really quite peculiar. Which I may just try and get back over to show you, although I have chosen the moment to cross the road really badly. But yeah, basically this is a T-junction. The logical thing of a T-junction, if you've got a cycle track on one side of it, is to continue it. Because there's no point making people wait for conflicting traffic if actually they've been taken out of that flow. So what they've done here is pretty good, but slightly crazy. Not because it's dangerous, but just because I think they've made almost triple provision, which is a new British record, shall we say. But basically you end up with a junction where you have three ways that you could go through it to go straight ahead. Such old joy. So anyway, this is this T-junction. This is actually a bit of a dual carriageway up here. And it is quite busy, and it lets you turn left and right quite easily. You can see here that the cycle route kind of continues through and then hits this track there to then go into the bus stop bypass we looked at before. On the other side, yes, Bournemouth, twinned with Detroit. It is quite motor-centric, motor-heavy here, let's not lie. This is not some wonderful cycling paradise, but this is about accommodating rather than absolutely changing, shall we say. Now here we are, we've got our green. So here we go. Now this, so there are three ways you could go straight ahead at this junction. Let's go down the cycle track. You can see it does have a lot of green, probably anti-skid. This may not be that smooth and that comfortable. You can actually cycle over there if you want, and you can cycle over there on the left. So, if you are cycling up this junction, you get three choices. You can join the ahead lane. You can join the lane and turn right as well, of course, or you can turn left. Now, I'm not quite sure why they've put this in, because I think there's enough provision as it is. Maybe it's to let you get to those houses. But what it means is, and apologies for the amazing amount of sunlight in Bournemouth, you can take that left-hand lane and the cycle lane, it's shared use, and skip it. These lights don't go red very often. They have actually put it separate, which is good. So here we are at the moment. I don't know if you can see that, but the right-hand post is red, the ahead lane is green. This man's just crossing before he gets his green man. One of the problems is the green man wait is too long here, much too long. So, you know, I didn't cross entirely on the green man, who else would? But yeah, as you can see again, enormous width. No, I'm here for the Green Conference actually. But yeah, enormous width, cycle-specific signals, no low-level signals, which means of course you end up with one of the signs I particularly hate, which is cyclists stop on red. What they've actually done to get it wrong here is they put it on the mast for the main traffic signal. Hang on, I'm just showing you the sun there really, but let me just move over. Yeah, so there's a cyclist stop on red here on this ordinary mast, and there's one there on that cycle mast. So, and also brilliantly, someone's tilted the chevrons in that shield it slightly, so that you have to be here to see the green signal. Now let's be honest, here is not the cycle track, so that doesn't really work. That's right, James, you've only missed half. But yeah, basically you've missed the bit where there's a service road on the other side. That's actually a bus stop bypass. This one is a kind of Danish style, again on this side. And then we're here at T-junction where the cycle track goes continuously through. There are three ways of using it. You can either say you're a VCer, and I've seen one VCer, i.e. somebody who prefers to ride in the road with all the vehicles. In that case, you can just join the road. You can use the track, but brilliantly, there's this left arrow here which lets you go onto this shared use and go around it. So even though this only gets a red signal if someone is crossing on this pedestrian crossing or that pedestrian crossing, cycles can actually skip that. I'm not really convinced that's necessary, although it is necessary for them to have a legal way to cycle down into these houses here. I think perhaps that's slight overkill. But who knows, maybe I'm missing the point in the week when actually this is thronging, or maybe this is just good long-term planning. It certainly doesn't hurt anyone, but it's just one of those things where it's amazing that they went to that length. Clearly the officers in charge of this scheme have got good respect for their colleagues and can do quite a lot. And fair play to them. You know, it's actually a good idea to experiment with these kind of things. Perhaps one of the benefits of doing this is you can see, you know, will they actually wait for a red here? Well, you know, what will happen? You know, get a real experience of all the possibilities. It may even just have been done for traffic flow. You never know. One last thing I should show you here, actually. So this is a step track. It then comes into this. It goes down into that curve there. So here it's level, so the pedestrians can cross at level. It then goes back up again. So it's a raised track again. Actually, I'll just cross over this verge. So here we are, raised track, full curve for this section. Not that slanted, little slotted drainage in. But here, we go straight back to full curve protection. What's really impressive about that is about the way you think about where that's gone in. Getting the detail of this stuff's right is important. There are always more important issues, but someone has to care about getting the detail right. Sorry, that's me. But yeah, so that means there's a curve here, which means that if you've got cycles here and right turning vehicle, brilliant, on cue, they're not going to feel like they want to come too close to it. It's, yeah, everything about the design helps explain which way it should go. It's subtle, it's minor. It works. Here we go, VCer, or shall we say it, road cyclist. Now to be honest, I haven't ridden these tracks on a bike. Actually, he's going to join the track. So he's just actually ignoring the junction because the junction is too slow to use. So if you go to use the toucan, you get very little priority in green time, so you're better off going straight through. But then he's gone straight track. I don't know how well laid these tracks are. They don't look too bad actually. They may well have been machine laid. I mean, the anti-skid is its usual ugly self, but it looks pretty good. It's impossible to tell by walking, it really is. Basically the issue is sometimes with, well, quite often with hand-laid surfaces you get a real problem of it rolling and feeling uncomfortable, and if you're going at a reasonable speed or if you're cycling for longer distances, that's not pleasant. One last thing, so this is the other bus stop bypass. Here they've actually put in an extra white line and little safe mark, kind of cat's eye type devices, as well as the other markings. Might be an experiment, might be what they've decided is the right design for this area. That one comes up the dark. What it does mean is in the dark, and let's be honest, they're fairly good solar road lights. At the moment, no. Not even a moped would be permitted. So there's someone cycling in the service road. This case is kind of interesting actually. So you've got a track on this side and a service road. The service road is probably more pleasant cycling. It's going to be quieter, but having the step track is good long term for through cycles, etc. You know, if you're actually trying to go along this road, it's very useful, as that road cyclist used it earlier. Yeah. So to answer your question. At the moment, in UK law, the most powerful thing that you could take on this is an electric bike. You even actually have issues about whether or not you can take a mobility scooter, even though it's, you know, electric itself and not really a full-on car. But you can't ride mopeds, you can't ride motorcycles. There is a really difficult argument about which way to take that long term. We know that powered two-wheelers are some of the most vulnerable vehicles on the road, but we know that quite often the ones involved in accidents are very high powered. So I think you would really have difficulty if you tried to put even a 125cc or higher machine onto this kind of infrastructure. You'd actually create more issues than you solve. On the other hand, I personally do think that you can find a way that for low-powered mopeds, you find a way of accommodating them. And I say that because honestly, when I use a lot of cycle facilities in London, you find a lot of low-powered mopeds using them, just for the little bits that jump between, get around major junctions. And long term, it would be good to find a way of accommodating that legally, perhaps even just where it goes over those junctions. But you'd need to do it with the agreement of everyone. There was a move that put motorbikes into bus lanes in London, which never really got the true agreement of people on bikes, and I think still causes resentment. So you'd have to do it in a more consensus-led approach, and you'd have to really tie it into the design of the infrastructure. But it could in part be an argument for even better infrastructure for cycling. That said, there will be a group of people for whom it will always be unpleasant, they don't want it. So it's going to be difficult to find the right way. I certainly think the argument for mobility scooters on cycle tracks needs to be made. You see them on these tracks, because as I was saying earlier, Bournemouth isn't the youngest of places, and it helps a lot of people. Anyway, as you can see, we're now at the point where it all stops, because we're about to reach the major shopping centre. At the moment, what they do is they signpost cycles to come onto this service road, so I'll just walk down here before I absolutely finish. And that's not a bad solution. This is the way that we were in theory providing for cycling from after the war in many places. It sort of does provide for cycling to a degree, but you get to the junctions and it will do nothing, and that's a major issue. What they haven't yet done in this scheme is treat the really major junctions at each end of it. They've done minor changes, some things on the pavement, but not a lot. Toucans and other things. If you're ever going to get true mass cycling, you're going to have to do major changes at the junctions. And actually, let's just get a very quick look at how big this junction is. I think this is only the beginnings of the junction from memory. And actually, you can see here that this service road has been terminated from actually going toward the road. I think this is not the way it would originally have been designed. I think originally this was designed so it would really join here, and probably the junction was a lot smaller. But what you've got here is actually a very big roundabout and junction. It's actually the roundabout here is so wide that the left filter is its own little road, effectively. There is still quite a lot of space for cycling here of sorts, but it's not very high quality. Here the pavement is very bumpy, and you're coming up here to effectively a blind corner. Conflict here, not pleasant. And here, let's say you are going to Sainsbury's, well, what you're greeted with is end of route cyclist man, the bane of everyone's life, frankly. Doesn't help anyone. There's not a lot of width necessarily in that road, but then look at that central reservation. That is the back of Sainsbury's though. But as you see, the car entrance into Castle Point is just there and to the right. So there's everyone running off to Sainsbury's. And as you can imagine, given this kind of entrance, most people are driving. Anyway, that's enough for me.